don't know it all. So there's people in different levels of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. So today I want to introduce, I call her a black superhero. That's who I call her. So she is a board certified family physician, a Las Vegas native. She's a nonprofit founder, which I didn't know that part. She's the host of her own podcast, She Inspires Podcast, and she's a children's author, which is dope also. Dr. Jade Norris, our speaker for today, our black hero. Let's give a round of applause for Dr. Jade Norris.
What an intro. Black hero. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me tonight. I'm really excited to be here to talk about subscription-based businesses. All right, a little bit about me. We're gonna go into it, but I like to get a little feel of the room. We'll do that in a moment, but we're gonna talk about building a successful membership business. And as he so nicely introduced, I'm Dr. Jade. So a little bit about me. I'm a board certified family medicine physician, as he said. My family is really everything to me. I have a husband who's wonderful, Carlos. Have two little ones, Ava and Aaliyah. They're 2 and 4, and they're just the light of my life. My family is up at the top right. We're in our Wakanda wear. You know, I made them do that. And then at the bottom left is baby Jade. That's when I was 4 years old. That's when I first started saying I wanted to be a doctor. In the bottom middle, these are wellness events that we do. It's funny, you said that you didn't know I had a nonprofit. You were just at our nonprofit event last week. So our nonprofit hosts events in the community that inspire healthy marriages and healthy families. And we just had the Valentine's Lover Soiree for the marriages. My husband and I have the nonprofit organization. Our practice hosts free wellness events in the community periodically. So at the bottom middle, that was one of our events, Dance with the Doc. We just had Box with the Doc not too long ago, Hike with the Doc. So we try to promote health and wellness in our community. And in the bottom right, one of my whys is just inspiring kids of color in particular, to know that they can do and be anything, which led to our children's book series, You Can Call Me Queen and You Can Call Me King. So the agenda for tonight, we're gonna talk about my journey to opening a membership business. We're gonna define what a membership business is, the pros and cons of the membership business. The meat and potatoes of this is gonna be my top 5 strategies to growing a successful membership business. And I'll share some resources and we'll have time for Q&A. So I like to see who's in the room. So just a little raise of hands, who already has a business? Perfect. Who has a membership-based business, a membership branch of your business already? Okay, perfect. And then who's interested in potentially having a membership business? Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's helpful. So my journey, I like to share how I got to this stage and what this stage means. So at the top left, little timeline, I started saying I wanted to be a doctor at 4 years old. All right, and then the bottom left, that was me in med school struggling. That was me for about a good almost decade, just me, a laptop, lots of books, isolation, headphones, the struggle. But to the right of that is my med school graduation. I kept in my mind thinking about my why, which is my patients today. And so that helps me to get through that struggle season. The top middle is gonna be when I was in residency, and that's when I first learned about membership models for medical practices. So that's when I learned about membership medical practices, was during residency. I always wanted to open my own private practice, but we were taught that you can't open an insurance-based private practice anymore. Hospitals have bought those up. You have to be an employed physician. And then I learned about membership models. And specifically, the type of care is called direct primary care, but it's easier to just say membership medical practices because people understand memberships, even if they haven't heard about it in the state of primary care. At the bottom right was exactly 2 years ago, which is crazy. We opened our practice 2 years ago on February 1st. So that's my ribbon cutting. I had just had a baby, my second baby. So my husband's holding baby Aaliyah. And my toddler Ava, she was 2 at the time. She was running around somewhere, wouldn't hold and take a picture with me. But that was our ribbon cutting there. And now flash 2 years later, the top right, what people kind of see today on social media, I've now successfully grown a debt-free, multiple six-figure membership medical practice in less than 2 years. And I'm gonna tell you how I did it. So before I get into how I did it, it's really God, but I'm gonna tell you the things I applied to help make this happen. So let's define membership business. So a membership business is a business model where customers pay a recurring fee to access a set of products, services, or privileges from a business. Members typically receive ongoing benefits such as discounts, exclusive content, early access to products, personalized services in exchange for a subscription fee, okay? There are so many different industries. So the things I'll talk about tonight, although mine is in the setting and my story and what I'll share with you how I did it is in the setting of primary care and healthcare. However, this can be applied to any area or any professional field. And so many of the businesses we know and love are membership businesses. The ones in the middle are the ones we know and love. The ones on the sides are my two membership businesses, but we have Netflix, okay? Memberships for movies and shows. We have gyms. Of course, those are membership businesses. My favorite, don't know how I would live without it, Amazon Prime, okay? My husband wishes I would stop because there are packages at my door every day, okay? Pandora, we got subscription for music. If you're like me, I used to love doing Blue Apron and the other things would ship your food right to your door so you can cook it. So that's a membership business for food. And then Inspire Primary Care to the bottom left. That's a membership business for primary care and medical weight loss. And then to the bottom right is the She NSPIRES Community. That's my community for busy professional women who have a private space where we discuss how we balance business and wellness together in our private community. So that's my community for busy professional women, also a membership business. So pros and cons. Well, people love that it's a predictable recurring revenue. You know, you have this many clients, in my case, patients, which I call them members. So I have this many members, I charge this much money, this is how much is gonna be in my account each month. It's nice and predictable. That's definitely a pro. Community building, you can really build community around membership businesses, which is why I do things like the With the Doc wellness events in the community, so that my patients, although I'm one-on-one with them in the room, it gives us a sense of being able to get in a wellness space and do something together. Okay, so definitely building community is a fun part of having a membership business. Customer loyalty, typically if somebody's paying you every single month or quarterly or annually, they really like your business. I really like Amazon Prime. There is customer loyalty there, right? And then there's upsell opportunities. So you can remarket and re-upsell to those same people because they are loyal, they know your quality, they are more likely to rebuy. And so things I do is I have an upgrade in my practice, which I'll talk about, but I have the primary care branch of the practice and I have an upgrade to our medical weight loss practice or a branch of the practice. So that's an upsell opportunity and they already know and trust me. So cons, well, you could say an initial investment is a con, but that could really be applied through any business model, not necessarily just a membership model, but the investment is something to think about. It takes time to grow. Definitely, if you open a membership business, it is rare to just have it blow up and all these people are there ready to pay you every month. It usually takes some time, some trust, some reputation, and then to accumulate and get to that point, that tipping point where people know, like, and trust you and really are ready to invest. So it does take some time to grow. The customer acquisition cost, this is something we'll talk a little bit about when I get to the marketing aspects, but what does it cost to acquire that customer? How many times? Studies show that it takes at least 7 times for somebody to see and hear about your business before they're ready to buy. And we're talking about a membership. So it's not just a one-time purchase. So it takes even longer for them to really, look at you. I have people that join my practice and they're like, I've been looking at your Instagram for 2 years every day. And today I'm ready to join. And that's just how it is. So what does it cost to acquire that customer? Churn is a big part of a membership business. Churn is they come in, they go out. They come in, they go out. We all know that when we get a charge at the top of the month, we're like, are we turning that membership off? Because I have all these other bills. I could eliminate that one. So this is something you're dealing with. How do you acquire the customer? How do you keep the customer? And you have to prepare for the churn of when a customer is ready to end a membership. Market saturation, you know, we have to look at the market. I'm not the only membership medical practice in Las Vegas. There's about 8 of us. We're all friends. And so what does the market look like? Is your industry saturated when it comes to memberships? And customer satisfaction, you know, customers have a certain expectation when it comes to a membership. If I'm paying you every month, I expect it to be worth me continuing to pay every month. So there is a certain expectation you have to meet, and that's in business in general, but especially if someone is locked into paying you at a regular recurring rate. All right, so this is the meat and potatoes. Definitely encourage you to take notes along the way, to take screenshots along the way. This is gonna be good. So top 5 success strategies. I broke it down into the why, the what, the who, the how, and the secret sauce. Y'all ready? Okay, so number 1 is the why. This is a book I highly recommend. Has anybody read Start With Why? Has anybody read this book? Okay, it's a book I highly recommend. I was told about it by one of my successful entrepreneur mentors, and they were like, you gotta restart with why before you open your practice. I'm glad I did. So the thing I wanna ask you is, why do you want to do this business? And specifically, why do you wanna do it in a membership structure? And knowing that why is gonna be very important. It's gonna be important for the hard times, when it gets hard, when people wanna leave, when people aren't joining as fast as you hope they would. You have to really connect back to that why. And people are gonna ask you, especially me, why are you doing it as a membership? Why aren't you just taking insurance? I get that question all the time. We'll get to it. But why? Why? And so for me, part of my why for my patients or members was I wanted to really provide them with high quality care. So at my practice, there's little to no wait. They get 30 to 60-minute visits versus it would have been 10-minute visits if I took insurance. They're unrushed visits. If you take insurance, it's a volumes game. You have to have lots of patients, over 3,000 patients per doctor if you take insurance. But in my practice, I could take 200 to 300. So it's just a huge difference in quality. Direct access is very important. When I worked at the insurance-based practice, I had to have all of this staff and all of these barriers around me, and I would hear people wait on the phone for 30 to 60 minutes just to make an appointment with me, and then the nurse would answer the phone and they'd say, hey, Dr. Norris, so-and-so has this question, and then I'd tell the nurse, and then they'd tell the patient, and I'm like, can you just give me the phone? Like, why are we doing this? But those are the barriers required in an insurance-based system. They wanted the doctor to literally go room to room to room within 10 minutes as fast as you can, because that's how they make money. They don't need you talking to the patient and answering more questions when they're not collecting a copay. So quality of care was not the priority. I wanted patients to have direct access to me. So in my practice, when I do a membership, they have my cell phone number, literally the cell phone that's in my purse. They text me during business hours. They email me 24/7. I answer it within a business day. They have a QR code or a link. They self-schedule appointments, and they can select if they want that via phone, video, or in person. It's super flexible. It's easy for me. It's easy for them, and we could just figure out what they need and get it done. I don't have to wait and say, wait, let me ask your insurance company. The insurance company said, no, we don't have that, okay? So then I also wanted personalized service. I wanted to see what the person as an individual needed, hear their story, get to know their background, get to know their family medical history. If I worked in an insurance-based office, you get a literal set of what happens if they have this blood pressure, order this medicine. If their hemoglobin A1C is this number, give them metformin. There is no, let's talk about nutrition. Let's try this before we add a pill. No. If they had this, why didn't you give them this pill? That is how it works in an insurance-based practice. So here I was able to really have a wellness-focused approach, tailor and personalized to what the patient needed as an individual. Now, that's all for my members. That's a lot of my why, right? However, on the flip side of that, churning through over 30 patients a day, 10 minutes back to back to back, no lunch break, like a machine, is also not fun for the doctor, okay? It sucks for the patient, it sucks for the doctor. So it also allows me to have a really great balanced quality of life, to be a great mom, a great wife, do mommy and me gymnastics, take vacations, take breaks, actually eat food in the middle of my day while taking great care of my patients. So both of those were why I opened a membership practice. So when people call and they're like, you don't take insurance? And I'm like, no, it's a membership. And they're like, I want to go somewhere that takes insurance. I'm like, there's lots of it out there, you know? And I'm here if you want to try something different, and that's okay. So, but knowing the why. So number 2 is the what. So what does the business industry look like specifically? Like, what is the market research? I spent over 2 years in residency when I found out my second year of residency that I wanted to do this membership model and that I was going to do it, and I was going to do it straight from residency. I started doing my research. I read every book that was written on direct primary care. I watched every YouTube video of previous conferences. With the pandemic, all of the conferences were virtual and it was free for residents to attend. So I attended every conference virtually while other people were on night shifts sleeping. I was in the hospital on night shifts looking up direct primary care and creating a business plan. So, doing the market research is important, and also doing that nationally and locally. So I knew what it looks like across the country. There's over 2,000 membership medical practices in the United States owned by physicians, and I knew what it looked like locally. At the time, there were 6 other established direct primary cares. There were none that were of color. I was the first Black direct primary care in Las Vegas, and I'm the youngest. So I knew what that looked like. I met people. I became friends with them. They became my mentors. Once we were past the pandemic, I went to those conferences in person, and I followed them on social media. I would ask them questions. We became friends once again. And I asked, can I visit your practice? I went to Detroit. I visited another physician who opened their practice straight from residency and was successful. I say all this to say I didn't reinvent the wheel. Like, this is a new model in primary care for a lot of people, but it's not a new model. So I didn't reinvent the wheel. I figured out what all of these doctors did that made them successful. I figured out what they did that they wish they had knew before they started. And I put my own spin and my own flavor on a system that was already structured, if that makes sense. What is the price point? Now, I'll tell you about price point. It's about knowing the price point you need for your business to be profitable and successful, but also the price point in comparison to the market. Nobody wants to say, okay, well, yours is $300 a month, but theirs is $80 a month. I mean, I like you and all, but I'm gonna pay $80 a month, right? So it's about looking at that and figuring out what's the right for you and your business. You want to know, are these other businesses thriving or struggling, and what components makes them thrive or struggle? And you want to know about the competition. The X for some reason is at the bottom, but that was over the word competition. We might have a little bit of structuring issues on the slides, but I crossed out competition because there really is no competition. These are your colleagues. What are your colleagues in the industry doing? And it's just to have an idea of what they're doing, not to compare, so that 1, you can ask questions and learn from them, but 2, so you can also use that to really structure the way you want to do it as well. Okay, so that was the what. This is the who. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite things. Outside of the why, the who is really, really, really important. Okay, so who is your ideal client? And I want y'all to think, it's a rhetorical question. Do you know for your business who your ideal client is? Okay? You want to be detailed with this. This is really important. And a lot of business books will tell you this, but the wrong answer to who is your client is everyone. Everyone is not your client. And what's funny about this is these are the 2 pictures from my website. All right. So you look at my website and it looks like everyone is my client, right? I got kids, I got older people, men, women, it looks like it's everyone. That is on purpose. But the who from my business is not everyone. I'm gonna tell y'all who the who from my business is. Y'all know this lady? She's cute. She's cute, right? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about who my who is. My who is Shawnee, all right? Shawnee is an invisible made up name, but Shawnee, I'm very specific on who Shawnee is, and I'll tell you why. So my who, Shawnee, AKA Mrs. Henderson. So we're gonna use her as an example. I didn't confirm with her that these things are true, but all of these things written down are true for Shawnee, okay? Shawnee is a busy professional woman, 30s to 50s. She is driven, she is ambitious, she is balancing many things. She is likely a mother and or a wife. She takes care of everyone and maybe not so much herself. She's trying to maintain a healthy weight and a healthy lifestyle. It does get hard sometimes. She desires to be healthy and medication-free. She wants easy access to healthcare. She don't have time to be waiting hours and hours and hours, okay? She wants a real relationship with her doctor. She hates for her time to be wasted. Okay, y'all, I'm Shawnee too, okay? I'm Shawnee too. I'm like, yes, okay? So I'm Shawnee too, okay? She likes to travel. She enjoys luxuries like spa days, nails, hair. She likes to text and email for communication. She doesn't mind paying for quality. Now, Shawnee does not waste her coins. She's not just gonna waste her coins, but she does not mind paying, and even paying a little bit extra if it's high quality and gonna make her life easier. So it's not the budgetista that's my Shawnee. No, she's like, I will pay if it's right, okay? She has numerous memberships, so she's very familiar with memberships, like gym membership, Netflix membership, and our Costco membership, okay? And this is the key, y'all. This is the secret sauce, one of the secret sauces. Shawnee decides the healthcare for the rest of the family. That's why my practice looks like this. I market to Shawnee. When I'm on Instagram, when I'm on live, when I'm on my podcast, when I'm out at events, I'm like, Shawnee, 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 Shawnee. I know where she's at. I know her, okay? I'll have people tell me, girl, you are everywhere. I saw you on this, I saw you on that. I'm like, no, I'm everywhere Shawnee's at, okay? So it's strategic. Shawnee has the kids, she knows the older folks. She connects me with everyone that makes my practice look like this. So who is your ideal patient or your ideal client, okay? All right, so that's a good one, okay? Number 4 is the where. So this, y'all, takes some trial and error. This is an entrepreneur's, it's the bane of your existence when you're first opening a business, is like, how do I market? Because when you open your business, everybody will be like, give me your coins, give me your coins. I'll put you in the magazine, I'll put you in the this, you can sponsor the post. You could lose money fast, okay? So a little bit like throwing paint against the wall when you're first opening. You have to know exactly who your who is and really think about, where are they at? Where do they consume content? Where do they scroll? And then that will help lead you to where you should start your marketing efforts. I'll tell you a little story that when I first opened the practice, I started a radio show. I don't know if any of you heard about it, but I was on 88.1 on Wednesdays. I had a radio show. I think it was Wellness Wednesdays with Dr. Jade. I did it for maybe 6 or 9 months because I was trying to figure out where to market, right? And it was a great show. I loved it, but every day after the show, I would get all these calls from people that were like 75 and older. Nothing wrong with people 75 or older, but remember, I'm trying to find Shawnee. She's 30s to 50s. And then I said to myself, okay, Shawnee's a busy professional woman. She's probably not listening to 88.1 at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. She got things to do. So I stopped marketing there, and instead I asked my Shawnees, y'all, where y'all at? Where y'all at? And they're like, girl, I listen to podcasts. I'm like, oh, okay, the She Inspires podcast. They're like, I'm on Instagram. If I really want to scroll, I'm scrolling IG. So I'm on Instagram, okay? So where do they hang out? Where do they hang out? That's where you put your marketing efforts. So I put what my top 3 successful marketing efforts are, but this doesn't mean that's where your top 3 should be, right? I'm just giving you an example because this will be variable for each for each business. Some might be TikTok, some might be LinkedIn. I don't even have a LinkedIn. People tell me I should get one, but I'm like, I don't really know if Shawnee's on LinkedIn. I'm not. So I go where I know Shawnee is, and that is Instagram. So at the top, my Dr. Jade MD page, that's really feeding into it feeds into my Inspire Primary Care, but that is really nationally and internationally. People are from all over on that page. And so that really feeds into my She Inspires Wellness Community for my women, for my busy professional women. My Inspire Primary Care page is predominantly Las Vegas locals. That directly feeds into my Inspire Primary Care membership medical practice here in Las Vegas. Word of mouth, Shawnee rolls with other Shawnees. So she's gonna tell her girls when she likes something, she's gonna be like, girl, this is where we go for our care. This is where we go for our weight loss. This is where we go for our primary care. Have you heard about Dr. Jade? Shawnee is gonna spread the word if it's quality, okay? There's also a referral networking group. Anybody know about BNI? Yeah, it's an international referral networking group. I do BNI as well, and it's a group where you refer to others. You can look it up if you want to look more into it, but that is something else I do consistently for my business, and it has grown about 6 to 10% of my business. So it's good, but it's not as consistent as the other areas. And then Google. Shawnee Googles. Shawnee looks at the reviews, okay? She's gonna go on Google, she's gonna read the reviews, which is why I focus on really high quality care for my members. So then they go on, they put a good review, because that's what people are looking at, okay? They wanna know what do other people have to say? And it's very rare that people are gonna put a good review unless they're really blown away. Most of the time people put a review when they're irritated or something happened that really made them mad. So us having 55 5-star reviews from people who have either are currently a member or were previously a member in a doctor's office in Las Vegas, that's pretty rare, okay? So then number 5 is the how. This is another book I highly recommend, especially if you want to have a lean business. A lean business is basically a business that has low overhead so you can be profitable quickly. So when I heard about the book, The Lean Startup, and that was also highly recommended to me, I was like, I'm definitely doing the lean startup approach. We knew, my husband and I, again, came from the medical journey. Although I got a full ride scholarship to medical school, I still had to live, so I still came out over $200,000 in debt. Okay, so we knew that when we opened our medical practice, we were not willing to take out any loans. We were gonna have a debt-free business. And so for us to do that, I had to have a plan. I had to have a strategy on how are we gonna have a debt-free business. And we have home, mortgage, kids, cars. How are we gonna have a debt-free, profitable business? The lean startup, having really low overhead, and then that helps me to be profitable faster. However, you wanna have a specific business plan. We wanna be strategic, okay? And then, do you need a side hustle or an employed position while growing your business? So one strategy that we had that was best for me and my family was for me to work urgent care the first year while I built my business. So this is me on the right when I was the urgent care doctor. Whew, glad that phase is over. But it was a sacrifice. I'm glad that I did because now we have a debt-free, profitable business. But for me, I had to pick up urgent care shifts, have that stable income while I built my business. Each time I had a certain amount of members, I was able to decrease the amount of urgent care shifts per month. I subtracted an urgent care shift until there was no more urgent care shifts and there was a quit date once urgent care was paying me equivalent to what Inspire Primary Care was paying me. From there, I quit, and then now it's all Inspire Primary Care, and we've built from there. So that was the strategy that worked for us to be a debt-free business. But what does that look like for your personal finance strategy? Do you have family support or not? It's not about if we can do it, it's just how do we do it? How do we structure it to be successful? All right, so the bonus is the secret sauce, all right? And the secret sauce is to lead with service and value. So it's this whole thing that I hear a lot these days, and I think it's just popular to say, and it's like, ooh, the price is going up. The price is going up. Anybody heard people say that? The price is going up, okay. But I'm like, is the service going up? Is the quality going up? Is the value going up? Because it's not enough to just say the economy is becoming more expensive, so the price is going up. So I'm leading with service. I'm leading with value. It's serve and then earn. But a lot of people look at the earn. And I think that's where some entrepreneurs fall short. But when you serve, you will earn, okay? So what value does your membership provide? What problem does your membership solve? So this is what gets them in the door, right? When you create a membership, you're letting them know if you pay me this much per month, per quarter, per year, you get this, and this. This is what gets them in the door. This is what intrigues them. And they're like, okay, I'll try it out. All right, so when people, this is a chart from my website, basically what they want to know is, why would I pay you every month when I already have insurance? Why would I do that, So they want to know what is the difference between going to a traditional medical office versus paying a membership at Inspire Primary Care. So what gets them in the door is, hey, you can text me, you can email me, we can hop on the phone. Your visits are an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. I'm here when you need me. It's like having a doctor in the family. If you don't mind waiting 3 to 6 months for your appointment, if you don't mind the hassles and delays and the frustrations, if you don't mind waiting around, the insurance-based practice is there for you. They're in abundance, they're everywhere. But if quality and efficiency matter to you, then check us out. So that's what gets them in the door. That's what gets them to try it out. But the secret sauce, what keeps them in the door, is the service and the value. So again, I don't share these as a pat on the back for myself. I'm really trying to emphasize what keeps people in the door, what keeps people paying you every month, what keeps people saying, I'm not going nowhere. It's worth it. It's worth $150 a month. It's worth $200 a month. There ain't no way I'm going back. What it is Dr. Jade is the best. 5 stars are not enough for Dr. Jade. Okay, my medical experience with Dr. Jade yesterday was top tier. Dr. Jade has been my primary doctor for over a year. It's well worth the membership fee. Dr. Jade is impeccable, unmatched, and above reproach. Dr. Jade is an amazing primary doctor. Easy 5-star review for a 5-star doctor. I cannot imagine working with another doctor ever again. These aren't people I pay. These are people that pay me, okay? I serve them. I serve them. When they text me, I text them back. When they are in need, I care about them. I care about their family. I know their kids. I know what they do for a living. I serve, and that's why I earn, and that's really why I believe that it has been successful and taken off, and I'm really thankful. I do look at them as an extension of family. When they ask me questions, I'm thinking about, what, in addition to the guidelines, I'm also thinking about what would I recommend for my father, what would I recommend for my brother, what would I recommend for my mother or sister. So I care for them like family, and I think that's why it's been so successful. So. Recommended resources. These are books. I tried to narrow it down to like my top 10 favorite entrepreneurship books, but I got down to 11. So this is a good picture to take. I didn't put the authors' names because they're popular entrepreneurship books. If you Google them or Amazon them, they're there. But these are the books, the top 11 that I really loved and really helped me along my entrepreneurship journey as I got established that first year. Highly recommend those. So y'all can keep in touch. Good ways to reach me are on Instagram at Dr. Jade MD, at Inspire Primary Care, my website, inspireprimarycare.com. If you go to the contact page, that comes straight to my email. If you are a busy professional woman who is looking for a safe space to talk about balancing business and wellness together with like-minded women, that's the She NSPIRES Community. If you're looking for high-quality primary care or medical weight loss services, that's Inspire Primary Care. And thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all. And I'm happy to answer any questions. What questions do y'all have? Do we have time for Q&A? And thank y'all for asking me. Thank you for asking me to come.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So we are open to Q&A. Y'all fire away at Dr. Jade.
And I'm going to pass these around, give everybody a card. But I'm happy to answer questions.
She's a doctor.
Mine too.
See, I can't say it. It's HIPAA, so I can't say nothing. You can take one and pass it around.
She's amazing. She is.
Thank y'all. Yes, sir.
You talked about Shawnee. What about Sean?
Exactly. Sean, yes. That's funny that you asked that because Sean is a thing. Sean is a thing. I don't directly market to Sean, but Sean comes. And Sean usually is connected to Shawnee. So, I indirectly get the Seans, but I market to Shawnee. And you want to be laser focused on who you market towards. And so I take care of women, I take care of men, I take care of children, I take care of the elderly, but I market towards Shawnee. She's connected to all of those people. Yes, ma'am.
Membership fees. How do you price them?
How do you decide your price point? Yeah, so that goes back to the market research, right? So I look at nationally and locally what the typical price point was for a membership medical practice. So what I noticed was in more rural areas like Kansas City, Midwest, they were charging like under $100 a month. 80 to 100 was more what they were charging. I noticed on the West Coast and cities like New York, they were charging a little bit higher, typically between $100 to less than $200. This again is for direct primary care. Concierge, you will hear people call me a concierge doctor, but the difference between direct primary care and concierge is that concierge is typically marketed towards the wealthy, like the top 1% earners. The membership is typically more expensive, and they also bill insurance in addition to charging you a membership. So that's the difference between concierge and direct primary care. Direct primary care gives you the access. We don't bill insurance in the office, and it's typically a lower price point, under $200, okay? So I looked nationally on what the average was in Las Vegas. The average was about $80 a month. They were undercharging in my opinion, but that's on them. But $80 a month to $200 is really the average here in Las Vegas. I priced myself at the top of that average at $150 and $200. Yeah.
All right, next question. I'm just going to give you this so we can hear on the recording.
I'll talk about it.
They want to be able to record it.
Okay, so I thought the presentation was great. I actually know someone out here who was trying to get into the subscription care. I've had it once before, and I thought it was a great service. Question number one: how long did it take you to? I know you said you had the vision for a really long time. How long did it take from fruition to actually implementation? And number two, do you practice by yourself? And number three, if you don't practice by yourself, I know somebody who will work really well with you.
Ooh, yes, yes. Okay, I love it. So question number one. All right, question number one was how long did it take from start to fruition? So another rare thing about my journey is I opened my practice straight from residency, so straight from training. Unlike a lot of physicians, they got an employed position and then they burned themselves out, were miserable with the churn, and then they're like, I'm either going to quit medicine, become a real estate agent, or, you know, an investor, or I got to figure something out. And then they find out about direct primary care and then try to build a practice from there. So a lot of older docs have done it that way because they just learned about it later. I thankfully learned about this while I was in training. So that 2 years, I had 2 years of training. I had second year of residency and third year of residency. Those are my 2 years to be a sponge. And I knew that I was launching straight from residency. So while my colleagues were getting, interviewing for employed physician jobs and signing contracts, I was making a business plan. And they're like, do you didn't sign your contract yet? And I'm like, no, girl, I'm not signing the contract. I'm about to open a business. And they thought I was crazy. They probably still do, but but it's all worked out. So that's number one. It took me 2 years because I was still in training. And then when I ended training, I was 8 months pregnant. So I was like, let me have this baby. So while I delivered my baby, I was like, we're opening in 8 weeks. And then almost less than 2 months later, I'm holding my newborn while doing a ribbon cutting. So that was my crazy journey. And that was just because I was like, I'm doing this and I'm trusting God and this is what he showed me and that's what I'm doing. But I could have, if I wasn't pregnant, about to have a baby and still in training for 2 years, I know doctors who do this 6 months. Some of them are like, I need to quit today. So they'll put a plan together quick and launch. I mean, the speed can be faster, but mine was 2 years because of that scenario for me. Second question was, before you got to helping me hire my next physician. Oh, do I do this alone? Yes. So the business strategy for my business, and different direct primary care offices can structure this however they want. Like, for example, sometimes two physicians, a lot of time like husband and wife physicians, they'll open it together, be able to cover for each other. There are other people who, they were practicing residency with someone or they knew someone through their training and they decided together, let's be business partners, and they opened together. So for me, that wasn't my scenario. So I opened solo physician, and my strategy to my business is when my practice panel is full, which we will be full before 2024 is over, when my practice panel is full, that's when I'll hire another practitioner, either another physician or a physician assistant, nurse practitioner, and then we'll fill up their panel. And when their panel's almost full, we'll hire another. So that's how we scale my business. And some people open and they're a solo physician and they're like, I don't want to hire, I don't want a team, I just want me, my full practice, and be happy and done. But I do plan to scale to other practitioners when my panel is full. So right now it is me. I hired my husband as our COO once the operations side of the business really grew. I say hired, but honey, he works for free. So, again, lean startup, low overhead. We're being smart. One day he'll get paid. Okay, he gets the luxury of being married to me. So he's our COO. He does the operations, processes payroll, does the back end stuff that I don't want to do anymore. And then we hired our practice assistant, Ilani, and she does a lot of the non-clinical referrals and pharmacy assistants and things like that. So that's our lean team right now. And then the next hire will be someone that you're going to let me know about later, because I will be looking to hire. I'm going to be full before 2024 is over, and I will be looking for the right fit person to hire and join the team. Yes. Any other questions? These are great questions. Yes.
So a question that I had is, you know how you get a job and you can call a number if you have like a question instead of like physically going to a doctor. Have you thought about, or do you have a like model of your business where people can just get, like, if I as a business owner, wanted to provide some service where people could call in or get questions answered. Is that something that you plan on having in the future, or something that you offer now?
So let me clarify, make sure I understand. Are you saying if someone is not a member of our practice, but they want medical information?
Yeah, if they want medical information, so like me, a business owner, if I want to provide that type of service, would that be something that could be in your business model?
If you want to have our service for your employees or your team? Yes, so that's basically our corporate membership. So we have started working with businesses. We have about 5 businesses in our practice right now. And so basically they're an employer group within our practice. They provide the membership coverage for all of their employees. So yes, we definitely do that. So we do individuals, and then we have our corporate memberships with businesses that provide the membership for their employees. Thank you. I was like, if they're calling for information, you have to be a member. I mean, it's exclusive. I mean, that's the whole point of being a member. Like, it's locked out if you're not a member. Yes, but yes, we definitely have employer groups. Yes, sir.
Do you have a family plan also? I know you say individual, but is there a family
Yeah,
membership?
that's a good question. So yes and no. So there are some direct primary care practices that will say, this is the max amount for a family. Here's the amount, family plan, max amount for a family. I don't do that because each person requires my care and attention. So each person has a membership. However, I have an adult membership and I have a pediatric membership. So it's a discounted membership, $49 a month for children instead of $150 a month if they join with an adult. Yep. These are great questions.
Thank you. So,
In lieu of having the traditional insurance from a corporate or from an office, this is something just as on top of having the subscription and your insurance that you get from your employees?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So different scenarios for different people. Different reasons for different people. So there are some people who do not have insurance. We know that the government requires it, but many people don't have insurance, and so they don't have access to health care. So for them, having a membership gives them 90% of their health care covered, and now they have a great doctor that can do everything in-house, okay? So that's one scenario. Scenario 2 is like 1099 employees, right? They have a great career, they have great income, but it's very expensive, over half their check, to get full PPO insurance. This is also another option, okay? With those type of people, they often will look at, and I'm not an insurance agent, but I have one that I have them talk to, right? They pair their Inspire primary care membership with a high deductible healthcare plan. So it's a very low cost monthly insurance plan that covers the catastrophic things. If they need to go to the emergency room, et cetera, surgery. So those are covered through their high deductible, low monthly cost, which pairs nicely with an Inspire primary care membership. So that's another bucket of people. I have money, but I don't want to spend all my money on insurance. So they'll get a high deductible plan. That's also a plan that's typically better for people that are relatively healthy. They don't have a lot of complicated health plan or health issues. And then you have the opposite, the other end of the spectrum, people who do have full PPO, HMO, are paying a high cost for insurance every month. However, the average wait for an insurance-based primary care doctor in Las Vegas is 3 to 6 months. I know that because I was an urgent care doctor for over a year, and I'm like, why are you here? See your primary doctor. They're like, they can't get me in for 4 months. They can't get me in for 6 months. They can't get me in for 3 months. The average wait in Las Vegas is 3 to 6 months to see an insurance-based doctor. So although they have a card, they don't have a doctor. Okay, they call the doctor, it's 3 to 6 months, so they have to go to urgent care. You still got to pay more money, and you still haven't. And when you go to urgent care, I'm the urgent care doctor, and I'm like, we can't help you with your blood pressure, see your primary, but thank you for your copay. And so then you have a whole gamut of things that the urgent care can't even help you for, but they won't tell you that until they've collected your money and you've waited 6 hours and you see the urgent care doctor. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you're here for blood pressure. Yeah, you're gonna need to see your primary doctor for that. And then they're back where they started. So they come to me because they can't see a doctor. They're tired of the wait. They're tired of the hassles and frustration. And they're like, you know what, girl, I'm gonna pay $150 a month so I can have a doctor. I still got to pay this insurance, but I actually need a doctor. So I see all of those people.
Do you have, I know you have, how many employees? 1 or 2?
I have one paid employee, one free employee. Yes. But we're a team of 3. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your paid employee, I think
Does she get her own health care through like a PPO, or do you provide her health care?
Oh, I wouldn't provide her health care. Yeah, I wouldn't. So that's a great question. That's a great question. So I would have tailored this to the individual. This was a conversation as I was hiring. What we were going to offer as a company, again, we're a lean startup company. We've been open 2 years. I'm not paying for a full PPO HMO for one employee. That doesn't make sense financially. And they can't see them for 3 to 6 months. So what we offered our employee was literally to pay for a direct primary care membership at another practice. And so she could have chose any practice in Vegas and we would have paid for her membership. So that was one thing we could have done. But thankfully for me, her husband is military and she's like, we're good. I go to base for everything. So I was like, perfect. Yeah, but we would have paid for a direct primary care membership, and then I could have paired her with our health insurance agent we use to get her a high deductible plan, so she'd be all covered. Yeah.
Are the plans monthly, quarterly, annually, every 6 months? Do you have to sign up, or is it just cancel after 30 days?
Yeah, so our program is monthly or annually. So $17.88 a year or $149 a month. And then they can just text or email me if they want to end their membership, and it ends 30 days from that request. Yeah.
You talked about your panel, so that means how many patients you have. How many patients is your panel going to be for before you get the next person?
I love this question because when I opened, I did my market research, and a lot of physicians, and most of them were male physicians, older male physicians, most of them said that their full panel was 600 patients. So I was like, okay, it looks like 600 is the magic number. So when I opened and I first started marketing, I was like, first 600 people, I got you. And then people started messaging me and they're like, I keep seeing the number go down. Because then I was like, first 500. And then I started getting more members and I was like, first 400. And now we're approaching 200 members. And I really don't think I'll go over 250 members. And that's why I know that I'll be full soon. And really what I realized, it's a feeling. It's a feeling of if my patients have to wait more than a month to see me, then what's the point? So it's how full is my calendar? How difficult is it starting to be for me to actually care for the amount of members at the high quality rate I want to care for them? If it takes me longer than a day to text them back, well, I want to be able to text them within 4 hours comfortably. So for me, it's a feeling now. I don't think I'll go over 200, but I'm just literally listening to my calendar and my body and being like, when it feels full, I'm going to close my panel, have a waiting list, and then we'll hire. So I know that'll be this year, but that has changed from 600 to less than 300 now. Yeah. And also, y'all are my patients, so y'all don't even know this, but I don't work every day. I'm in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday, Friday's my flex. Mondays, I take my kids to ballet. I do dance class at my church on Mondays. Saturdays, I do dance class at my church. I take my kids to Mommy and Me gymnastics on Thursday. So I have built my business around my life, not my life around my business. So I also look at how many members do I want to take where I can have the quality of life and flexibility that I want. So yeah, that's all decreased that 600 down to like 250. Yeah. And I'm able to scale through other people instead of being like I have to have 600 to meet, financial goals. So yes, ma'am.
When you first started your practice, did you find it hard handling the objections?
Yeah, adjusting to no's in entrepreneurship, whether it's a membership model or any other model, we have to adjust to hearing no, and that takes time. Absolutely. Like I'd be like, oh gosh, should I have just accepted insurance? Okay, should I have just became an employed doctor? All of that stuff comes to your mind, but God just was like, I got you. It's gonna be fine. Focus on who I send, be faithful over the few. And those things help to remind me. And now, of course, I'm like, thank God I stuck with it. But absolutely, yeah, no's suck. Yeah, they do. But then you get used to it and you're like, no, okay. There's a Shawnee. Girl, there's Shawnees everywhere. There's limitless Shawnees in this city. So I'm like, if I only need 200 Shawnees, and how many Shawnees are in this city? We're fine. Yeah.
With your marketing, because you said you started right after your residency, how did you market to the people in the last 2 years, like when you first started?
So when I first started, I did the radio show on 88.1. I did some networking, things in the community. Different people were hosting events, and I got a booth and went to those. I did join BNI in the first year and was doing the networking referral group.
She joined Black Henderson too.
Black Henderson, yes, we did some of their sponsorship events. So I tried to go where the people were. I definitely focused my efforts on the Black community because, I really want to serve people of color. I really want to help us to prevent and reverse chronic diseases. We're number one for almost every chronic disease, so that's a big part of my why. So I intentionally tried to fill my patients with Black patients first. But my practice was for everyone. It is, but a big part of my why is to help Black patients prevent and reverse chronic disease. So I tried to go where they were. And then really I started noticing that people were like, I'd ask them, every single person that joined my practice, the first question after, getting to know them was, how did you hear about the practice? And then it just kept being Instagram, Instagram, Instagram. My friend told me, Instagram, my friend told me, I Googled it. Those are my top 3. So then I laser focused on just really shutting off all the other things and just doing those 3 things as my primary focus. And then that's just helped it grow. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any more questions? Okay.
Mine's is a little different. You said you started out a residency. What back office, so to speak, that you look at, or what did you have in place to make sure that everything was pretty much automatic or ran smoothly when you started your practice?
That's really good. And so you guys asked about team and like how many employees. Really, my first employees were automations, and I'm big on automations. I love automations. And so, automating my scheduling, automating through my website. All they have to do is click the enroll button on Inspire Primary Care. It takes them through all the steps. Automating the membership, my practice electronic medical record. It has everything built in. So once I put their card number and click bill them on the 1st. I don't do anything else. It just bills them on the 1st every month. So those automations were amazing. And that was a big part of why I could be a one-woman show for the first year and a half before I start bringing on a team. So huge fan of automations. My mail letter is automated, newsletter, which also email marketing is big. So MailChimp does its thing. Instagram does its thing. So yeah, YouTube, I put my stuff up on YouTube. I screen record my lives, pop it on YouTube. And that's just, people are like, found you from YouTube. So, all these ways to automate that has been really helpful. Did that answer the question? Yeah. Thank y'all. This has been great. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm definitely here to answer whatever you have.